After 4 years of station wagon life, I'm back in a ute. Let's have a look at this thing. So this is the new Overland NZ rig. 2026 SR5 Toyota Hilux in ash grey. I think it looks absolutely epic. And in this video, we're gonna go over why I've gone back to a ute after saying that wagons are better. And I'm gonna have a bit of a look at it and go over my plans for the vehicle. If you've seen this channel before, you know for the last 4 years, I have been running a Toyota Fortuner as my primary overlanding off-roading vehicle. For all intents and purposes, it is a station wagon Hilux. Same thing underneath and just a different body on top, more or less. Long-term viewers remember I did actually run a Hilux way back when I started this thing, and so I've kind of come full circle and I'm back in a Hilux after 4 and a bit years and about 75,000 Ks in the Fortuner from the top of New Zealand to the bottom. The Fortuner has been absolutely epic. I think they are seriously underrated cars, but life has changed and it doesn't quite fit what I need it to do these days. So I kind of ended up picking up one of these. So back when I bought the Fortuner, my life was really different. We had one kid, he was about 6 months old, and we needed prams and baby things and all that sort of stuff. For our second kid too, it worked really, really well. Having that wagon was brilliant. You just chuck everything in the boot when it was being used for family stuff. That car also had to do everything. I dailied it to and from work for years, and it was our family car for the weekend, and I kind of asked a lot of it. You know, trying to have a car set up for daily use and for, I guess, Overland NZ use. These vehicles are used to produce the videos and they're used to go out and log the tracks for the app. And that vehicle is always a little bit compromised. I loved it. It did everything brilliantly. It drives nicely, it tows nicely, it's got heaps of power, it's pretty comfortable. It just works. It does exactly what it says on the tin. But I'm kind of at a stage now where I can have a slightly more dedicated rig for Overland NZ stuff. I don't use these cars as a daily anymore. They're basically just do overland stuff. So I thought it was time to change it up and try something, I was gonna say new, but maybe go back to my roots, but do it slightly differently this time.
There is also just the fun part of building a new vehicle and exploring different ways to do things that I am looking forward to.
Anyone who saw the video way back in the day when I sold my previous Hilux will remember that I said wagons are a better choice for most people most of the time, and personally I think they are more capable off-road. However, and the internet doesn't always like this, but two things can be true at once. I still believe that a wagon is a much better vehicle than a ute, but a ute can also tick a lot of boxes that a wagon can't. They're both good at different things, and I'm kind of at a stage where having a wagon is becoming not a problem, but it is becoming more of a hassle than I was hoping it would.
Weirdly, the biggest issue we have with the Fortuner is the small boot. There's not actually a heap of room in it. We've got 2 kids and a dog, and moving to the ute just gives us that bit more space to play with, especially on the bigger trips.
There's obviously downsides to going to the ute. Like, I've got this big empty space here. There's no protection, there's no nothing, and that was kind of one of the key things of going to a wagon, especially with camera gear and things, is everything was in an enclosed box. That is no longer the case, and I still need rear seats in the back for my kids. You know, this platform is well and truly tested now. You know, the underpinnings of this came out in 2015. It is still more or less the same vehicle that it was. It's more or less the same vehicle that my Fortuner is. That appeals to me. I know this platform. I know it works well for me. I know it does what I need. And aside from a few timing chain issues in a couple of 1GDs, the platform has been almost bulletproof.
I know there were a few DPF issues right at the start too, but since the 2020 refresh, they've been few and far between.
You know, I've had timing chains done in my Fortuner. I've had a gearbox software update as I was having a few issues right at the beginning. Outside of that, it's been fine. You know, the chain's done under warranty. It is a known problem with engines built around that era. Fingers crossed this never has that problem. Like, Toyota should have fixed it by now. And that was kind of why I landed on Hilux over anything else. Like this, aside from just being the one that I like the most, which is hard to explain to somebody, like this is the ute that I looked at of all of them, and it ticks my boxes, and it's the one that it's the one that I like. I can't explain it. Like, my dog is not perfect, but she's my favorite dog. She's probably not gonna be someone else's favorite dog, and that's fine. You know, you can have different opinions on things, To me, I think this looks epic, and it's enough of an upgrade over the previous generation that it feels like a fresh car.
It's hard to show this on camera, but as somebody who's coming from a previous generation Hilux era car, Toyota have just kind of refined everything, and all of the little details have just been improved.
You know, Toyota haven't mucked with it too much. If you watch all the car reviews, for some reason that seems to be a massive issue. Toyota claim that, you know, the customers who are buying these are looking for something that is what they know and what they trust. And yeah, it's a bit cliched, but I'm in that boat. I don't want to think about the car. When I'm out on big trips, like, the car's more or less irrelevant. I go to them to go see the views, to go and visit the cool places, and all the vehicle's got to do is get me there and back reliably. This will probably do that. If it doesn't, obviously I'll let you guys know, but I have no doubt in my mind about the reliability of this vehicle. It's an old platform, it's very well tested, nothing in it's particularly new, which is good and bad, but it just works. So yeah, I'm pretty excited, and that's kind of why I landed on this over anything else.
And to answer the inevitable questions about why I didn't get a 79 Series Land Cruiser, they just don't do it for me for whatever reason.
So what's actually changed over the previous gen Hilux, and I guess by nature of that Fortuner, which I've been using for the last couple of years? Both a lot and not a lot at the same time. Obviously there's a new front end on this, and I think it looks really good. When I first saw the photos online, I wasn't sure, and then we were driving back from the far north in February, and we passed a couple in, I think it was Rotorua, they were parked out the front of the dealer, and I was like, ooh, that looks sweet. You know, looks are subjective, there's no denying that, and every time a new Hilux comes out, everyone online gets in a massive uproar about it because it's different. Oh no, you know, things change, things move on. And then after a couple of months, everyone kind of forgets about it and moves on from the outrage and just ends up building really cool rigs. But, you know, I think this looks incredible. Even with its body color grille and a few things that Toyota are trying, I think it looks great. The only thing I don't like is how skinny they look at the front, like direct on, but that can be fixed with a set of wheels with a little bit more offset on them just to fill out the guards and I guess widen that stance a little bit. The area that has changed the most though, and this is why I landed on this car, is this inside. What a step up. Yeah, the old Hilux was feeling old. That platform came out in 2015, and by 2025, that was really showing. This is fresh and bang up to date.
But they haven't fallen into the touchscreen trap. There's still buttons for everything that you need to touch frequently, which makes me very happy.
It feels mostly like the new Prado. I don't expect it to be Prado level of quality, and it's not. Little things like this here, they look soft, but they're not. They've just got some stitching on them. And it, you know, everything is just a little bit cheaper, as you would expect for a car that is, you know, more or less half the price. But that doesn't matter to me. In here, it is such an upgrade. Everything feels so much better. Little things like the infotainment are actually nice to use now. So you fire up CarPlay with Overland Navigator and drive along, and it's crystal clear. All the cameras are nice and clear. It's kind of a weird one to explain, and obviously isn't the primary focus of an overlanding vehicle, but when you're spending 12 hours a day in a car over, say, 7 days on a big trip, having somewhere nice to sit makes a huge difference. And like, yeah, this is the SR5, so it's got cloth seats, but it's still got seat heaters. It's still got a heated steering wheel, which blew my mind when I saw that. And it is so comfy. Like, this seat is brilliant. You know, they've done a bit of work on the ride on especially SR5 and above, and you know you're in a ute. I'm not going to deny that for a second, but compared to the older ones, like my old N70 rode like a brick. This thing, even completely unladen as it sits right now, it's reasonable. I'm not gonna say it's like great, but it is more than reasonable, and as soon as you chuck a bit of weight on the back, it's gonna transform it again. So under the bonnet, we have got Toyota's 2.8 litre turbo diesel, the 1GD FTV with the 48 volt mild hybrid in it. I'm a big fan of this engine, and I quite like the mild hybrid version too. It feels more different than I was expecting. Like, I've got pretty much the same motor in my Fortuner, minus the hybrid, and they do feel quite different to drive. And I noticed on the drive here, heading down a very slight hill, and ever so slight accelerator just to sit at 50 k's an hour, I wasn't using any fuel. So I'm guessing that the hybrid was taking care of that. Maybe, I don't fully understand how it works, but It does the trick nicely, it feels nice to drive, and like if anybody's going to put a hybrid into a vehicle and it be reliable, it's going to be Toyota. They've been doing this stuff since the late 90s. Yeah, I like this engine. It does everything. Like, we've got a camper trailer, it's, you know, nearing on 2 ton when it's fully loaded, and it tows that beautifully. It returns reasonable fuel economy. It's more than powerful enough. Like, this is not a race car. It is a ute and a 4-wheel drive. I don't need it to be any faster than it is. You know, 500 Newton meters from almost idle is amazing. And this engine just does the job. It's not exciting. It's not like the last word of refinement or power or anything, but it does the job. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think this is a good engine. So what are the plans with the Hilux then? Obviously, aside from getting it out there and using it for what it is built for, I need to get it set up. Originally, I was thinking of doing like an all-out, all the fruit under the sun build, but there are 2 reasons that I've decided not to. Number 1 is the current state of the world, shall we say, and the bit of uncertainty, and the thought of going and dropping, you know, kind of what this vehicle's worth again on it doesn't seem wise, for lack of a better term. And then more importantly, an aspirational build is cool and all, but it is not particularly relatable to most people. Most people who buy a dual cab ute still need it to be their work car or their family car or whatever it is, and you don't want to go and drop, you know, half again what the vehicle's worth on fitting it out. So I've teed up a few little bits and pieces, and I've got, I guess, a vision in mind of what I want to do. I want to get rid of these wheels. I think they're awful. I need some better tires. I want to do suspension, obviously, once I've got the weight on the car so I know what I'm working with. I'd love to do a bull bar. I've got 2 of mine that I quite like, neither of which are available in New Zealand just yet. I'd like to do some rock sliders, as like Fortuner has just been pummeled. Something's coming for the back. I've got the tow bar on it already so I can tow. Went to a snorkel. It's going to go with the Safari on here because I don't want a stainless one. 12-volt water pump. I guess all the living things will be in the back. It will be pretty simple though. So it's not going to be anything over the top, but it should be something that lets me get out there and use it and travel New Zealand in comfort, you know, like I've done for the last couple of years. Like, it's going to be along the same lines of that, shall we say. Maybe with some different gear. I'm keen to try some different things this time. You know, I've run, for example, EFS suspension forever. Got no problems with it, but I'm kind of keen to play with something else. So we'll see where I end up there. And I am going to do the PPF wrap on this. I bought this ash grey because I think it looks epic, but it is going to scratch real quickly off-road. It's fine, it's 4-wheel drive, that's exactly what it's for, but I'd like to protect it a little bit. Anyway, that is my new 2026 Hilux. I'm absolutely pumped with it and I'm excited to get going. Next video, we're gonna start doing some mods to this thing and making it look a little bit less road car-y Hilux and a bit more adventure Hilux. Thanks heaps for watching. Catch you next time.